A big field, 9 riders getting into tonight's jump-off, filled with experience of Marlon Zanatelli, Jur Freeling, Johnny Pols, Edwina Tops-Alexander. But it is all about that man. It is all about the young Mikey Pender, who goes on to win his first ever Lgct Grand Prix, and he does so in Valkenswaard. He does so to get himself a golden ticket to the Lgct Super Grand Prix. Second in Hamburg, one step better this time around. And the young Irishman will remember today's date for the rest of his life. Let's waste no time and go straight into the round of Mikey Pender to show you just how he and HHS Calais were able to get over the line here in the closing seconds, getting over, making sure that he was then fast enough and going on to set an incredibly fast time as well, by the way, at 41.23. But he knew that Marlon Zanatelli was still to come. He knew that Philip Weishout was still to come. And for him and HHS Calais to go on and beat both of those men to the clock, you know how incredibly well he rode and just how strong a performance that is for the young man to now be crowned the champion of Valkenswaard for 2022. And as we said, a performance that maybe after Hamburg earlier on this season, he may not have felt as if there was another opportunity. Here it presents itself, and here he takes it. Well, Philip Weishout was the man that was trying, was the only man who could have taken that away from him. And unfortunately for him and Kobe, despite staying clear, they will have to settle for second place. Known for their speed, they were unable as a pairing to get over the line, and Mikey Pender, in fact, going on to win comfortably. It might not sound a lot to the real world of 1.48 seconds, but in the world of sport, 1.48 is incredibly comfortable for Mikey Pender. And take nothing away from Bliss Hers, her first ever Lgct Grand Prix on Antidote de Marseille, and gets on to the podium. Sensational performance from the young American. A night that she too will certainly remember for many, many years to come. Here we see a closer look at it, getting towards the final few lines here into this final approach over the Longines combination, and then stopping the clock there as we see at an impressive 45.42, giving her the provisional lead at the time. Edwina Tops-Alexander and Jur Freeling, from a championship point of view, making up some ground as well. We'll show you the overall championship standings later on and give you an idea as to how tonight's standings look, bearing in mind the fact that there was no Ben Mayer in the jump-off, there was no Peter de Vos or Max Kuhner qualifying for the Grand Prix. So a golden opportunity for Jur Freeling, for Edwina Tops-Alexander, and even Marlon Zanatelli as well, who move up to 9th on the overall championship standings. There were points up for grabs, and they certainly cashed in. So maybe we can quickly show you Edwina Tops-Alexander before we get to the podium, before we get to the final 3 finishes. Always tough when you're out the gate so early. Edwina Tops-Alexander and fellow Castlefield having 2 fences down, stopping the clock at 43.57 with 8 penalties. At that time, of course, after Hans-Dieter Dreher's 4 and 44.48, it moved her to provisional second. And while she doesn't win the Grand Prix, while she doesn't get onto the podium, there are championship points for Edwina Tops-Alexander. But here, some might say perhaps the most unlikely of champions in that field that, as we said, included so many senior riders. Mikey Pender up front in first place. Philip Weishout in second place. Him and Kobe stopping the clock at 42.71. And then Bliss Hers, the American, first ever Lgct Grand Prix on Antidote de Marseille, going on to finish in third place. At that stage, in fact, up until Mikey Pender, none of the competitors had jumped to clear. There was a 4 for Hans-Dieter Dreher, an 8 for Edwina Tops-Alexander, 4 for Koen Verreke. Then Bliss jumped to a clear, a 24 for Johnny Pols, who will forget about today's Grand Prix, a 4 for Jur Freeling. So up until the 6th competitor, Bliss Hers was leading tonight's jump-off. And then, of course, what followed, Mikey Pender, Marlon Zanatelli, who finishes in 4th, and Philip Weishout, Let's go on and join the presentation as we allow our 3 top finishers of tonight's Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix to get onto the podium and be celebrated for today's performances.
Grand Dame of Antidote is Gerlichin. Bliss here is invited to make her way to the podium. A little bit uncomfortable, unsure what needs to happen. And this is her first podium finish. And there she is. Bliss here is Antidote de Mars, 3rd in the Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix of Valkenswaard. It is 2nd place, unfortunately, for Philipp Weishaupt. He tried his best, but he was beaten fair and square. And so the highest step is reserved for the winner of the Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix of Valkenswaard. And that is Michael Pender on HHS Calais. He wins his first ever 5-star Grand Prix. He wins his first ever Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix. He is going to Prague in November. He will not only ride for Saint-Tropez Pirates, but he will also be riding for himself in that Super Grand Prix. Pender knows that it was sketchy, sticky, risky to that Global Champions Oxer. But in the end, if you win it, you are truly a hero. Irish anthem now, in the honor of Michael Pender. Nice one there, Michael Pender and HHS Calais. Big winner in Valkenswaard, and the trophies are coming his way. It is Jan Tops, as president and founder of the Longines Global Champions Tour, to present the trophy. Look at that big smile on the face of Bliss Heers. Second place, Philipp Weishaupt. He is disappointed, Philipp. He is disappointed. Not this man. He is delighted. Michael Pender, HHS Calais, first 5-star Grand Prix win. And straight away here at the big stage in Valkenswaard. There's Judith Mennen, brand manager of Longines for the Netherlands, to present the watch for Michael Pender. In the Saint-Tropez Pirates blue colors, actually, that watch. Down they come from the podium. That means that the bottles get uncorked. Pender, oh Mikey, what are you waiting for? Ooh, Philipp Weishaupt this time is getting the better of you. Oh, and it all goes down the back of his jacket. The only thing now is that Pender still has to got the cork. Pender is just taking his time. He's quietly spoken. He's fast in the jump-offs. He's slow with the cork. Come on, Mikey. Still trying to get the cork off, actually. What is he going to do now? Pops the cork and there's nobody around. Hey, Mikey Pender has a sip of the champagne. Ooh, Weishaupt, that's nasty. Well, what a Grand Prix. Technical, interesting, that first round from Ujano Vedzani. But what a jump-off this was. What a jump-off with Michael Pender, truly deserving this Grand Prix win on HHS Calais. For him, for his connections, for the owners, for the breeders.
That was a very unique tactic from Philipp Weishaupt. We haven't seen a behind-the-back usage of the champagne bottle. Very unique tactic from the German, making sure that Mikey Pender will get a proper shower there. Philipp Weishaupt, unfortunately, missing out. Mikey Pender in first place. And as you mentioned, very impressive from Bliss Heers to get on to the podium as well in her first ever Lgct Grand Prix. However, there's a lot of talk around Christian Allman, the championship leader, who did not qualify for the jump-off, and just how and where he finds himself now on the overall championship standings. We will show you the table, but first let's hear from the championship leader as to what happened today and how his performance went to not get into the jump-off.
So that wasn't the plan?
No, the plan was to jump clear today. I think Domi was ready to go. He jumped great shape both rounds, but yeah, was unlucky fault on the fence. I didn't expect. It was something like really not difficult at all. But yeah, but this you have to jump also. So I'm a bit disappointed, honestly. I was hoping for more.
What happened?
What happened? I honestly jumped very good, very careful, very concentrated, and he was blocking one time just in front of the triple, so I had not the perfect distance in the last moment, and tried to stick to my plan in the turn and do the forward distance, and the same happened again, so kicked one more time, and at the end was a bit far off. What was not, it's not a big problem, but at the end it was not really, the body was not in shape, so it was like last light touch in front, so yeah, that was the reason, I think.
So when with the fans down, did you have like the fast four in your mind for the championship?
Oh, I tried when I had the one down. I tried to stay a little bit on the inside line, to be not too much away, hopefully to be placed at the end. I don't think it will work, but to make it as good as possible with one down, yeah.
So we see you in Rome?
Yes.
Understandable disappointment from Christian Allman and Dominator, who were unable to cash in today and get into the jump-off, as we go back to the Tops International Arena and see our final three finishers doing their lap of honor. And what a picture this is, what a shot this is of Michael Pender, one of the youngest Lgct winners that we have ever had in this competition, leading the way, leading Philipp Weishaupt and Bliss Heers as the champion of Valkenswaard for 2022. And those images, that memory, that picture will live on in Mikey Pender's brain for many, many years to come. The dignitaries, including Jan Tops, celebrating and applauding the man as he goes on to remember today, as we said, for quite some time. Congratulations to Mikey Pender. Let's see if and when we can show you the round of Jurfreeling. He was one of the favourites for many coming into tonight's jump-off. Many expecting that he and Fiumicino would put on a really, really strong show here. Unfortunately, there was an error in the Longines double. We saw a fence going down. We saw him then finishing on 4 penalties. And because of that, it meant that he was not going to be in the shout. And unfortunately for Freeling and Fiumicino, the pairing eventually finishing in 5th place. They were unable to contest any higher. Malon Zanatelli was the penultimate rider into the ring and was looking to really try and put the pressure on the round of Mikey Pender. We know just how good Malon Zanatelli is. We know how good VDL Edgar M is. But there was a slip, and that slip cost Malon Zanatelli big time. And unfortunately, in the Global Champions Oxer there, we saw a fault going down. Look at the reaction and what it means to the team of Malon Zanatelli. And unfortunately, because of that, he was unable then to better his time. He was unable to even get onto the podium. So, frustrating for Malon Zanatelli, but he will live to fight another day. And let's not forget as well that Malon Zanatelli is already going to Prague for the Lgct Super Grand Prix. He will already be competing there after success earlier on this year. Now, finally, Michael Pender adds his name to that list. And with just 3 Grand Prix still to come, just 3 golden tickets remaining, who then from Rome, New York and Riyadh will be adding their names to that list? Let's show you the standings. Let's bring up how they look at the end of this. Christian Allman still leads, and quite comfortably in fact as well. 236 to 198 for Peter de Vos, who did not qualify for today's Grand Prix. Ben Mayer did qualify but didn't make it into the jump off. And now that is how it looks on the top half. Malon Zanatelli makes up some ground. He moves up to 9th. Also some ground being made up for Edwina Tops-Alexander and for Jure Freeling as well, knowing that Max Kuhne did not contribute to his tally as well. If I'm not mistaken, Philip Weishout is standing by for us, and we'll hopefully try and reach out to him in a few moments' time to hear how he feels, especially after such a good weekend, having won with the Berlin Eagles for the Global Champions League, now today getting onto the podium. Philip Weishout, you're a very busy man this weekend. I would like to say congratulations, but I'm sure it's a little bit heart sore. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I mean, probably if you ask me tomorrow, I would tell you I'm extremely happy with the day. But asking me right now, I'm a bit disappointed because, yeah, I have probably the fastest horse, but I wasn't the fastest rider today. But I'm super happy for Mikey Pender. He deserved it. Unbelievable rider. He was fighting like a lion today with the slip and still clearing the second last jump. I had just a really smooth jump off, but I never had the crazy distance to move forward. Everything came nice, but that's it.
Where do you think
that made a difference today?
Where do you think you lost it, Philip? Because 99 people out of 100 would say that you and Kobe are, as you said, one of the fastest pairings in the world. Where do you think you were able to fall 1.48 seconds short?
To be honest, I think it was just Mikey Pender's day today. But if I do it again, I go 1 less into the combination and 1 less to the last, and then I have it. But that's both extreme. He needed today something special to be quicker than him. I wasn't. I didn't deliver that extreme round today, so I should be happy. But 1 less to the combination and 1 less to the last jump should have made it.
Philip, when I spoke to you after the Global Champions League, you told me that the GCL lineup for Berlin Eagles was a secret. I wonder if you competing in Rome as an individual, going for yet another Lgct podium, will that be a secret? Will we see you in Rome?
No, unfortunately not next week. I'm having a holiday, a week off. I'm going to lie on the beach and watch probably on my phone my colleagues jump. And then I'm going to be back in New York.
All right, we look forward to seeing you in New York. Enjoy your vacation, very well deserved, and a great weekend for you, Philip Weishout, as an individual, of course, getting onto the podium, finishing in 2nd place. And let's not forget, earlier on today, for the Berlin Eagles in the Global Champions League, finishing on top and getting to a really strong position in the GCL. But tonight is all about the Lgct Grand Prix. Tonight is all about how this overall championship story looks, and the fact that Christian Allman continues to lead and does so quite handsomely, despite not getting into tonight's jump-off. As we said, there was some ground that was made up, though, by Jure Freeling and by Edwina Tops-Alexander, who both get into the jump-off tonight. Jure Freeling, in fact, finishing in 5th place. Edwina Tops-Alexander in 8th. So all of them making some ground up on the likes of Max Kuhne, Ben Mayer and Peter de Vos, who did not find themselves in tonight's either the Grand Prix or the jump-off overall. Now, if I'm not mistaken, again, some really, really exciting news from Bliss Hares now to join us live on the show in a first ever Lgct Grand Prix, standing by for us. Bliss, firstly, welcome to GCTV, and secondly, congratulations on an outstanding performance. How are you feeling?
Pretty surreal, honestly. Unbelievable experience just to be able to come to Valkenswaard to jump in the GCT and to be able to compete against the top in the world. Yeah, and then to be able to podium, yeah, it's amazing.
Are you able to tell us...
Unbelievable.
Are you able to tell us what was going through your mind before you went into the ring? You mentioned the field around you, some incredibly experienced riders. What was going through your mind as you went through the entrance to the Tops International Arena?
Honestly, just to stick to my plan. My horse is naturally fast, and just to try to make nice turns and to stay focused on my plan, and hopefully it would put pressure on the others. Like I said, my horse is naturally very fast and quite careful, so just deliver a nice round and see how everything happens.
And the fact that you remained clear up until, if I'm not mistaken, Mikey Pender, in fact, there was 6 riders down. You were the only clear rider. Does a performance like that, does getting onto the podium tonight, what does that talk to you about your future, about your beliefs, about your desires and your dreams on a stage like this?
Honestly, just to keep my faith. Enjoy my horse, enjoy what I'm doing, and just keep going, and things will happen as they're supposed to be.
Well, you were outstanding today. We loved watching you perform. Congratulations on your podium.
Thank you.
It was sensational. Bliss Hares joining us live on GCTV after a very, very strong performance. And as she says, loads of credit going to Antidote de Maus. Very fast horse, getting onto the podium. In fact, as I repeat, she was the only rider clear up until Mikey Pender, the eventual winner, made his way into the ring, because there were faults for Jur Vrieling, for Johnny Puls, for Koen Verreke, for Edwina Tops-Alexander, and for Hans-Dieter Dreyer. So not only did Bliss Hares go onto podium, but in fact she was 3 riders away from winning the entire Grand Prix. How wonderful to have her on here, and her first ever Lgct Grand Prix. So congratulations to her. We still need to try and bring up some more information for you tonight and give you an idea how it's going to play out. So stay with us here on GCTV. We will be in Rome in just 7 days' time, stage 13 of the Longines Global Champions Tour. So stay with us. We'll see you in Rome, and well done to Mikey Pender, your champion of Valkenswaard. Good night.